Lots of people from the mainland like to travel to Vickerstown, the large station at the end of the main line on the island of Sodor. Usually, they are brought here by engines from the mainland, but the engines get tired from the long journey, so they spend the night on Sodor and return home in the morning, or maybe stay a little longer. One day, Gordon and Duck were talking to one of these visitors. Gordon was reminiscing.
When I was young and green, I remember going to London. Surely you know the place. The station's called King's Cross and...
King's Cross? Utter tish-tosh. London Station is Euston. Everybody knows that.
Rubbish. London, Paddington. I should know. I used to work there.
Unfortunately, it didn't stop there. The three engines argued for the rest of the day. They argued throughout the night.
King's Cross!
Euston!
Paddington.
And they argued even after the visitor left for home the next morning.
Good riddance, stupid thing. I've got no patience for him.
Stupid yourself. London is Paddington. Paddington. Do you hear?
Grr. Enough! You both make us all tired. Besides, you both agree on one thing.
And that is?
London's not Euston.
Wait a minute. Paddington? Euston? London?
Well, I know that London Station is King's Cross. I'll prove it!
Oh, Gordon, there's something you should know about London.
But Gordon wasn't listening. He was too determined to prove himself right. Gordon was sure that going to London himself would prove his point, but that was easier said than done. London was far away on the mainland, way past the big station at Vickerstown. The express stops at the big station, then Gordon is uncoupled and moved to the other platform. Then another engine takes his train from there to the mainland and beyond. This gave Gordon an idea.
If I didn't stop, I could go all the way to London and see the station!
So one day, Gordon tried running through the station without stopping. Then another day, he tried to sneak away before he was uncoupled from the coaches.
Oi! Stop that engine! He's still coupled up!
He even tried hiding at the back of a train going to the mainland. He tried all kinds of tricks, but his driver, the guard, and even Rosie caught him every time.
Get out of there, Gordon. This is Spencer's train, not yours.
Yes, please. The Duke and Duchess wouldn't want you slowing me down the whole trip.
Oh dear, I'll never get to London now!
The next day, Gordon pulled into Vickerstown with the express as usual. He didn't try any tricks this time. Instead, he left the coaches at the platform and slunk sadly to the other platform, waiting until it was time to go home, just like always. Minutes passed. The coaches waited and waited, but their engine didn't come. Gordon was impatient too. Just then, Rosie chuffed in with the breakdown train, looking very annoyed, but with news for Gordon.
The engine that was supposed to take the express to London broke down in the yard. He's jammed the turntable so no one else can get in or out of the shed, and I have to go and rescue him. But the good news, the station master wants you to take the train to London. He's telephoning Sir Topham Hatt now. As soon as he says yes, you'll be all set. Show them how we Sodor engines do it, Gordon.
Gordon couldn't believe what he had heard. He smiled from buffer to buffer. He finally had his chance. Soon the arrangements were made, and Gordon moved quickly over the points and back down onto the train.
Come on! Let's go! Let's go!
Gordon was so excited he nearly burst. It was only a few minutes before the guard blew his whistle, but to Gordon, it felt like ages.
Come on! Come on! Come on! We're going to town! We're going to town! We're going to town! We're going to town! We're going to town!
Soon enough, they were off, slowly and gently at first, but Gordon gradually picked up speed. until finally they were rocketing smoothly down the track on their way to the mainland. But it would be a long journey.
Never mind. I like a good long run to stretch my wheels. London Express coming through!
Next morning, Sir Topham Hatt was in his office, pondering about his number 4 express engine. I wonder how Gordon's doing in London. He found out soon enough. The station master rushed in, waving a newspaper excitedly. And there was Gordon on the front page. The headlines read, Famous Engine at London Station. Police call to control crowd. Gordon returned home the next day. Rebecca was waiting for him, and Sir Topham Hatt immediately spoke to his driver and fireman. I see you got a warm welcome in London.
We certainly did, sir. We signed autographs until our arms ached. And Gordon had his picture taken from so many angles, he didn't know which way to look.
That's splendid. I expect he enjoyed himself. Didn't you, Gordon?
No, sir, I didn't.
You didn't? Why ever not?
London's all wrong, sir. They've changed it. It's not King's Cross anymore. It's St. Pancras.
Actually, Gordon, I can finally say what I wanted to tell you the other day. London actually has lots of stations. St. Pancras, Euston, Paddington, and King's Cross. They're all different stations. I used to work on the mainland, remember? I got to go to London too, and I've seen all those stations. In fact, St. Pancras and King's Cross are right next to each other.
What? Really? In that case, why didn't we get to go to King's Cross instead?
Everyone else just laughed, but Gordon just grumbled. He got to go to London, but he still never got to see King's Cross. Poor Gordon.
Oh, the indignity! When I get my buffers on duck in that snooty mainland engine, I'm gonna...